Science versus religion. Both religion and science serve a common purpose: to explain and draw conclusions about our world's mysteries. The apparent inexplicability of phenomena fuels the pursuit of answers in both domains. For if everything was self-evident, there would be no necessity for explanation. Each seeks to fill in the gaps, to elucidate the elusive truths of existence that evade our immediate understanding. Our world is not a puzzle that readily solves itself, rather, it is a complex, ever-evolving mystery, the solution of which propels the endeavors of religion and science alike. This struggle arises from human imperfection, particularly the imperfection of our consciousness, which evolution has not finally honed for deep understanding of the universe. Our consciousness lacks the intuitive, self-evident comprehension of the world and our place within it. Consequently, we find ourselves in a state of continuous searching, reaching out to religion for faith-based guidance or to science for empirical answers, striving to make sense of our existence in a reality that is neither inherently explicit nor immediately accessible. This conundrum of human consciousness is the underpinning of our continual quest for understanding, spurring us toward the exploration of both religious doctrines and scientific theories. Certain branches of science, especially theoretical physics and cosmology, are venturing into territories that are difficult to empirically verify or refute, not unlike religious dogma. Hypotheses about the multiverse, quantum gravity, or string theory, for example, though mathematically elegant, are currently beyond the scope of empirical testing due to our technological limitations. This presents an intriguing dynamic, as these concepts inhabit a realm where science begins to resemble philosophy or even metaphysics, blurring the lines between scientific hypothesis and faith-based belief. This does not imply that science is becoming less rigorous or accurate, but rather that it's stretching into realms where traditional empirical methodologies may not be applicable. It pushes us to reassess our understanding of what constitutes knowledge and proof. Just as religion evolves to accommodate new insights and societal changes, science adapts and expands its methods to explore these profound questions. Regardless, the core difference persists: science, no matter how sometimes dogmatic it is, remains committed to questioning and updating its theories in light of new data, while religious dogma tends to be more fixed, upheld by faith rather than empirical evidence. This divergence forms the basis of their ongoing interplay, shaping the future trajectory of science-religion discourse. In the contemporary landscape, major religions and fundamental sciences have more or less delineated their spheres of influence. Science grapples with questions of what and how, unraveling the mechanics of the universe and elucidating the patterns of the natural world. On the other hand, religion wrestles with the question of why, offering existential answers and spiritual insights. Both endeavors, while distinct in their methods and perspectives, are conducted within the confines of our consciousness, tirelessly attempting to comprehend the mysteries of existence. Yet, the limitations of our consciousness are formidable. Despite our greatest efforts, both religious and scientific pursuits are bound by our perceptual boundaries, unable to fully perceive and understand the true essence of reality. We, as explorers of thought and spirit, remain enclosed within our cognitive prison, ever striving yet unable to fully pierce the veil of the world's true nature. The struggle to reconcile our limitations with our quest for understanding forms the crux of the human experience, a never-ending dance between the certainty of what we know and the mystery of what lies just beyond our grasp. It is evident that major religions have generally ceased to interfere with scientific inquiries. Conversely, science has consciously sealed itself off from addressing questions pertaining to the divine origins of the universe and other enigmas of this kind. Contemporary science, with its vast repertoire of facts, suggests that our world is far from the straightforward, predictable entity that past atheists might have envisaged. It presents us with inexplicable coincidences, finely tuned constants, and other elements that hint at a meaningful inception of the universe, mysteries that we have only begun to catalogue. Religion, for its part, makes a conscious effort to abstain from making direct statements on scientific matters. It understands the inherent risk of overstepping its bounds into empirical territories. This respect for boundaries, born from past confrontations and disagreements, contributes to maintaining an uneasy peace. Each realm retains its independence while acknowledging the existence of the other, creating a nuanced interplay of ideas and beliefs that continue to shape our understanding of the world and our place in it. Thus, a peculiar balance is achieved in this complex interaction between religion and science, each operating within its own sphere, yet subtly influencing and being influenced by the other. The role of human consciousness in our understanding of religious and scientific truths is a profound concept, deeply interwoven into the fabric of both disciplines. In one perspective, our consciousness is the vessel through which we perceive, interpret and understand the world around us, the catalyst that enables us to grasp the complexities of scientific laws and the abstract nuances of religious beliefs. Suppose it was proven that consciousness is entirely reliant on our physical brains, and the experience post-death is just emptiness. What then would be the fate of religions? Would they evaporate like a mist in the dawn, or would they morph into new forms, accommodating this newfound truth within their doctrines? The spiritual implications of such a revelation could cause seismic shifts in how we perceive the divine and our own mortality. Although, afterlife is not necessarily linked to God's existence and vice versa. There might be afterlife and no God, or God and no afterlife. Usually they comes in a bundle, but may exist each in its own right. If science were able to craft new life, not merely in the form of cloning but entirely artificial beings, would we ascend to the status of deities? Would our newfound power of creation incite a conflict with established religious doctrines, triggering an existential war between scientific progress and faith? On a similar vein, consider the multiverse theory, a cornerstone of contemporary physics, which postulates the existence of realities where God doesn't exist, or he differs starkly from the concepts embraced by most religions. How would such a possibility affect our understanding of religion? Would we reconsider the religious narrative to include the probabilistic existence of God, or would such revelations nudge us towards a new era of post-theism? These concepts blur the boundary between science and religion, revealing the discrepancies in contemporary ideas, and challenging our capacity to reconcile the two. The discovery of intelligent life on other planets, complete with their own religious beliefs, could prompt an existential recalibration of our earthly faiths. The realization that we are not alone in the universe would not only challenge the anthropocentric narratives embedded in many religious doctrines but also raise questions about the universal applicability of our moral and spiritual codes. Would our beliefs extend to these extraterrestrial beings? How would their own faiths alter our perception of the divine? Such questions could lead to a radical restructuring of our religious beliefs, perhaps ushering in an era of interstellar spirituality that transcends the boundaries of our small blue planet. The 21st century has seen science emerge as a powerful and authoritative discourse, its influence permeating almost every aspect of human life. This rise in stature has led some to label it the new religion of our time, and while the comparison might be disconcerting for some, it isn't entirely unfounded. As in religion, science too can occasionally be dogmatic, its practitioners holding steadfastly to established theories and paradigms, sometimes even in the face of new, conflicting evidence. However, at its heart, science strives to remain an open-ended process, continually seeking to refine and revise its understanding of the universe. This tension between the dogmatic and the dynamic within science parallels similar dynamics within religious traditions, making the comparison both provocative and illuminating. If scientific research were to establish that morality and ethics can exist independently of religion, it could potentially destabilize religious doctrines that assert their exclusive hold on moral guidance. However, it might also stimulate a deepening of religious understanding, accommodating the perspective that virtues are a universal human attribute, not merely a product of religious affiliation. The potential threat to religious teachings could result in their evolution, leading to a broader acceptance and understanding of human morality. The notion of our scientific knowledge being an illusion, and our inability to truly comprehend the world, brings us face to face with the limits of our intellect and the potentially infinite complexity of the universe. This idea echoes certain mystical and religious perspectives that regard ultimate reality as something far beyond the grasp of the human mind. The hypothetical scenario where science disproves the existence of free will could revolutionize religious notions of responsibility and judgment. It would challenge the theological underpinnings of sin and redemption, potentially leading to a radical reimagining of these concepts. Imagine a future where immortality is achievable through scientific progress. Such a development could drastically alter religious understandings of life and death. With the fear of death removed, how would the promise of an afterlife influence our spiritual beliefs? The discovery of human consciousness as a product of evolution, rather than a divine gift, could undermine the foundations of many religions. Yet, it could also lead to an expansion of religious thought, integrating a more organic, evolutionary understanding of consciousness. Finally, should science manage to recreate human consciousness within a computer, it would radically challenge our concepts of the soul and death. This would trigger profound philosophical and religious debates, possibly leading to a new understanding of what it means to be human and what it truly means to die. Religious scientists find themselves at an interesting crossroads, where they must continuously navigate the seemingly disparate realms of empirical research and personal faith. This confluence, rather than serving as a source of conflict, often enriches their worldview, allowing them to harmonize their scientific understanding with their spiritual beliefs. Many employ a complementary approach, viewing science as a means of unraveling the physical intricacies of the universe, while religion addresses existential and moral questions. By compartmentalizing these two realms, or by seeing one as a tool for enhancing their understanding of the other, religious scientists find a unique balance that enables them to reconcile their professional work with their personal faith. However, it's not always a seamless integration. There are instances when scientific findings directly contradict religious doctrines, leading to cognitive dissonance. In these moments, religious scientists must embark on a personal journey of introspection and reinterpretation. Some may reinterpret religious texts metaphorically rather than literally, aligning age-old narratives with contemporary scientific understanding. Others might view these contradictions as areas where human understanding remains limited, invoking the divine mystery as an explanation. Through these means, religious scientists strive to reconcile the apparent inconsistencies between their professional pursuits and personal beliefs, shaping a worldview that encapsulates both the empirical and the spiritual. The creation of artificial intelligence that surpasses human capability introduces an intriguing paradox. While such an entity might possess vast knowledge and capability, classifying it as a deity would challenge our conventional understanding of divinity. Traditionally, attributes such as omnipotence and omniscience have been ascribed to a higher power, often one that is believed to be eternal and uncreated. An AI, regardless of its intelligence or power, would be a product of human ingenuity. Moreover, its understanding and capabilities would still be bound by the laws of physics as we understand them. Therefore, while it might be revered or even feared for its abilities, characterizing such an entity as a god would necessitate a significant redefinition of what we consider divine. If our universe were proven to be a simulation, it would throw our understanding of reality into tumultuous uncertainty. However, the impact on religious belief might not be as straightforward as we might assume. On the one hand, some people might see this as a definitive refutation of their beliefs, prompting a crisis of faith. Yet, others might incorporate this concept into their religious frameworks, interpreting the simulation as a modern metaphor for divine creation or predestination. The programmers of the simulation could be viewed as a new embodiment of godlike beings. In this sense, rather than eradicating belief in God or religion, such a revelation could lead to their reinterpretation and evolution. The hypothetical scenario where science proves the non-existence of God poses a significant challenge to religious communities. However, it might not necessarily signify the end of all religions. Religious belief is not just about the acceptance of certain propositions as true, but it also involves community, ritual, moral order, and a sense of meaning and purpose. The non-existence of God could lead to a transformation of religious thought, prompting a shift towards non-theistic or atheistic religions, emphasizing ethical living, community, and a sense of awe and wonder at the universe. Furthermore, for many, faith is a personal, subjective experience that might remain impervious to scientific claims. The proposition that all our religious and spiritual experiences are merely products of chemical reactions in the brain might be unsettling for many. But this wouldn't necessarily negate the value or significance of such experiences. It might shift our understanding of them, framing them as natural phenomena rather than divine interventions. Yet, their impact on our lives, our sense of meaning, and our behavior would remain significant. Finally, can religion be entirely replaced by science if the latter provides satisfactory answers to all our questions? This hypothesis assumes that the role of religion is solely to provide explanations for the unknown, which science is steadily illuminating. However, religion also fulfills a wide range of social, psychological, and moral needs. Unless science evolves to accommodate these aspects, stepping beyond its traditional domain of empirical understanding, a complete replacement of religion might not be likely, or even desirable. A divine revelation, where a God appears to humankind providing answers to all our questions, presents a fascinating scenario. However, even in such an event, it may not spell the end of science. Science is not just a body of knowledge, but a method of inquiry. It's a process of discovery, testing, and understanding that transcends the knowledge itself. The appearance of a deity who offers all the answers may satisfy many of our existing queries, but the human mind is inherently curious. We may still want to explore how these truths function at a granular level, to test their validity, and understand their broader implications. Thus, science may evolve in response to this new reality, rather than becoming obsolete. Moreover, the value of science extends beyond mere fact-finding. The scientific process cultivates critical thinking, skepticism, and the capacity for innovative problem-solving. These skills are applicable in a broad range of contexts, from everyday life to technological advancement. Even if we were handed all the answers, the ability to question, probe, and innovate would remain vital. In essence, science as an institution might not cease to exist. Instead, it might adapt to a reality where divine wisdom is a part of the knowledge matrix it seeks to understand. How could a God prove its divinity, both to humans and to itself? This question is deeply rooted in philosophical debates, with implications that reach into the realms of theology, epistemology, and and metaphysics. The concept of proof itself is a human construct, a method of establishing truth that relies heavily on our understanding of the universe and its laws. For humans to acknowledge an entity as a god, this being would presumably have to display qualities that are beyond human capacities, such as the ability to manipulate the laws of physics, access to infinite knowledge, or evidence of control over life and death. Yet, even these feats could potentially be explained through advanced technology or as yet undiscovered natural phenomena. Therefore, the most convincing proof might require a transformation of human understanding or perception, allowing us to conceive of the divine in ways that transcend our current capacities. As for a god proving its divinity to itself, this raises further intricate questions. If we assume a god has an omniscient perspective, it would inherently know its divine status without the need for proof. On the other hand, if a god is capable of doubt or requires confirmation of its own divinity, then it's moving into a realm of self-awareness and cognition that, while common to humans, is less often ascribed to deities. It suggests a potential vulnerability or limitation in this god's understanding, which is a departure from traditional conceptions of an all-knowing deity. Thus, how a god might prove its own divinity would depend greatly on the nature and attributes of the god in question. The proposition that God might simply be a product of human consciousness, as proposed by some scientific theories, carries far-reaching implications. It suggests that our perceptions of the divine are molded not by external, transcendental reality, but from the complex interplay of our cognitive processes, experiences, and cultural conditioning. This perspective shifts the concept of God from an external entity to an internal construct, a symbol perhaps, created by the human mind to understand and navigate the world. Yet, this would not necessarily diminish the value or significance of religious belief. For many, the experience of the divine is intensely personal and subjective, and its impacts on their lives are very real, irrespective of its origins. Furthermore, this view does not invalidate the ethical, moral, and social structures built around religion, which have shaped human society for millennia. In fact, it could enrich our understanding of these systems, allowing us to examine them in a new light, from a psychological, sociological, and anthropological perspective. Rather than negating the existence of God, this perspective might lead to a deeper exploration of what God truly represents for humanity. In an increasingly secular world, the future relationship between science and religion is subject to numerous factors. The growing dominance of scientific reasoning and technological progress can lead to an even greater shift towards secularism, with traditional religious beliefs being continually questioned, reformed, or even discarded. But it does not necessarily imply an eventual extinction of religion. The human penchant for meaning, purpose, and a sense of belonging could perpetuate various forms of spirituality, with or without formal religious frameworks. Additionally, religion can provide a moral and ethical compass, offering comfort and community that are not explicitly furnished by science. Yet, an intriguing possibility is that science and religion may learn to coexist in a more integrated manner. Rather than being in constant opposition, they could be seen as different lenses through which to understand reality, answering distinct yet complementary sets of questions. Science could continue to demystify the workings of the physical world and fuel technological progress, while religion and spirituality could continue to provide guidance for moral, ethical, and existential dilemmas, and offer a sense of purpose and community. The boundary between the two may become more porous, leading to dialogue, mutual enrichment, and a more holistic understanding of human experience. This, however, would require a willingness to question, adapt, and evolve on both sides. The exact trajectory of this relationship will largely depend on societal evolution, scientific advancements, and how we choose to navigate the complexities of belief and knowledge in the future.